Welcome. We're going to take a look at what strong ideas look like when they're in your writing. Most basic purpose behind writing is to communicate ideas from the writer to the reader. To be able to do that effectively, the writer has to have strong ideas in the first place, must have something of which to communicate. Let's take a look at an example of strong ideas so that we can see what this looks like. Here's an example. Throughout history, no symbol has been as important to the heritage and image of America as the cowboy. Although cowboys were only economically necessary for a few short decades, the symbolism and values they left have helped define America. The greatest significance that the cowboy brings to our country is the sense of personal freedom. As well, the cowboy embodied the masculine image of a tough, rugged outdoorsman who could handle any problem with grit and style. So here we can see this very short paragraph. It's got a lot of great ideas in it though. And not only that, but lots of details to back up those ideas with very specific kinds of information that expand upon the ideas. Here we see an example of strong ideas in writing. Let's take a look at another example. This, and again, is a second example of strong ideas. So here we're looking at some pretty decent writing. Recycling is a topic that tends to bore people half to sleep. There's just no good way to make brown glass and green glass sound cool. Interestingly, no matter how dull that a presentation about how to put what items into what bins sounds like a snoozer, without recycling, life is going to get much, much worse for us. Here's the deal. We are running out of resources. Oil is running low, water is running low, food is running low, and all of these resources are absolutely necessary to continue our way of life in the decades to come. So, finding a way to convince people that preserving the resources we already have is important and needs to become an exciting topic. So here we have strong ideas. We have really specific information that's been given to support those ideas. And we have some really nice imagery, some good visuals here to get the point across clearly. So we've seen strong ideas. Now let's take a look at weak ideas so that we can really clearly see what the difference between the two are. The purpose of writing is to communicate your ideas from the writer to the reader. That's the very most basic purpose. Now, an effective writer either has nothing to communicate in the first place, or maybe not very much to communicate, or is just not communicating those ideas very well. These are typically the two possibilities that you're going to run into when you see weak ideas in writing. Here's an example we can take a look at. This is an example of weak ideas. Cowboys are pretty cool. They did lots of things like followed cows and kept them from running away. Cowboys only worked for a little while. Cowboys were free and cool. So we can see here we have some ideas, but the way that those ideas are presented in the writing is pretty boring and very elementary. This is definitely not high school level writing, so that's not going to be as particularly helpful to us. What we're looking for in all writing is to have strong ideas, not weak ideas. So we want to make sure that we're always using nice strong ideas in the writing. Here's another example with recycling. People should recycle. Recycling saves some stuff and makes stuff cheap. It's important, but no one cares. So here, if you notice, we're actually talking about pretty similar ideas as we did in the previous paragraph where we discussed recycling. The problem here is that the ideas are presented in a weak manner, not in a strong manner. And that's what we need. We need strong ideas. Let's take a look at an example here and let's evaluate this one for ideas. How strong are the ideas that are included in this paragraph? Have you ever seen a young kid or a teenager smoking a cigarette or drinking alcohol? Well, this might not be the case for some people, but there are teenagers and kids smoking and drinking all around the world. Some countries do not have laws about teens smoking or drinking, but the United States does. Although the United States have laws preventing teenagers and youth to purchase cigarettes or alcohol, the laws do not necessarily prevent alcohol and tobacco use amongst teens. How are teens getting involved with cigarettes and alcohol? Things such as advertising affect the age at which teens start drinking or smoking cigarettes. Second, bad parenting. Poor parenting can lead to kids being allowed to drink or smoke. Third, teens being around poor influences. How can people reduce the age at which teenagers start drinking or smoking? No matter what cause teenagers across the country are smoking and drinking. People can help prevent and stop teen alcohol consumption and tobacco intake. So here we have some pretty good ideas. We have them organized in a manner which gets the ideas across. Certainly this is not what I would call a perfect paragraph in terms of ideas. It could be stronger. There could be some shifts in organization, some shifts in wording to make it stronger. But this is pretty decent. If I had to put it onto an ABC range, I would probably call this a B. Let's take another look at another example here. How strong are the ideas in this paragraph? How would you like to go from an unknown single mother or father on welfare with no real future to the richest person in Scotland virtually overnight? It sounds like a fairy tale, but sometimes big dreams really do come true. J.K. Rowling is a pure example of a modern-day Cinderella story. Here we have some pretty good ideas, and they're presented pretty well. We just don't have the depth. There's more that you're wanting. You want to know what happens with the story of J.K. Rowling, and how is it that she's like a Cinderella story. So you're left at the end of this saying, okay, that's pretty interesting, but I'm wanting more information. So again, we have good ideas, but it could be stronger. There could be more there. So what do you need to do with your ideas? Make sure that you're always staying focused on your topic. Don't wander on to other topics, which is easy to do and can create a big problem for you in your writing. Anytime that you're running out of ideas, brainstorm more. Then take that very large brainstorm and pare it down into organized ideas. You're always looking for depth, breadth, and detail in everything that you write. Brainstorming is one great way to take a few ideas and expand them out into more. You can ask questions to get your brainstorm going. Another thing to do is to do research. If you go out and look at what information have people collected on the ideas that you have, that can help to expand those ideas pretty quickly. No matter what you do though, no matter how you collect your ideas, they've got to be organized. Disorganized ideas don't do you any good. They don't communicate your ideas well to your reader, so you want to make sure that you're using strong organization throughout the piece. At this point, what you should know and be able to do is to know what ideas in writing are, to be able to create and use ideas, and to understand ways to improve upon the ideas that you have. I hope that this information has been helpful to your writing. Good luck.